Hi everyone, I'm Michael Manrique and I'm one of the Habit Guys. We teach realtors prospecting habits when they finally become top producing agents. And welcome to the Realtor Habits Podcast, where agents don't need more stuff, they need better habits. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by our Habit Guys Facebook group. We all want to prospect consistently and be more organized. Well, to do that, we need to think, do, and act like a top producer. Watch us prospect live and teach you every week for free in our free Facebook group how to get more expired listings, FSBOs listings, how to connect with your sphere, how to really learn how to not sound salesy, but instead just serve and make friends. Watch the highs and lows that come with prospecting in real time and get the opportunity to ask questions in the moment. All you have to do is visit us at habitguys.com/Facebook. Again, that's habitguys.com/Facebook, and learn all the skills top producers use in their day-to-day business. If you know anyone that can gain value from this podcast, please do us a huge favor and share it with them. We're here to help as many realtors as possible, and we appreciate your help to do so. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is called... well, it's actually a Valentine's Day special. Loving your real estate career.
Yeah. Hug it out.
Yeah, let's hug it. All
Hug
right.
it out. There
Awesome.
you go.
So obviously, it's really important. What Valentine's Day is all about is loving,
Absolutely.
not
Love.
just yourself, but obviously this is really tied to someone else, right?
Yep.
Loving your career, right? And one of the things that we want to talk about is just understanding the mindset that we need to have, right? Because real estate statistically is filled with heartache, filled with expectations not being filled. So it's important to be grateful, to have appreciation for this profession.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it different ways because, love can be complicated, right? There's many different levels of love and relationships, the ups and downs. So we're going to talk about that today, right?
Yeah.
In different parts of it.
Yeah, and our goal here is to help you fall in love with your real estate career again.
Yeah.
All right? While also giving you some behavioral tips, behavioral science tips to really help you get into gear, take action to growing your business. So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
And start off with tip number 1, to embrace a growth mindset, which is the key to resilience and innovation.
Yeah, and we got this from the book. Was it the book? What book was it, Mike? On growth mindset with Carol Dweck.
It's called Mindset.
Mindset, right? Phenomenal book. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out from Carol Dweck. And talks about the locked mindset, right, or limited mindset, and also a growth mindset. So the growth mindset is so important because if you don't have this mindset going into real estate, what may be a problem or a bad thing for you is only because you have the wrong lens, right? You're not looking at it the right way. So, Mike, kick us off with what are some tips of how can someone see things with a growth mindset? To see things when they're being told no, when they're rejected, when they're hung up on, when they haven't seen a check in 6 months or a year, whatever that is. What would you say to someone that's just struggling out there with that, not getting immediate results in their business and kind of like burned out and not in love of it?
Yeah, so the first thing that we have to understand is just understand how we're built to grow, okay? There's like a paradox here. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and that's why it's a paradox. For the more struggle that we have towards something, working towards something, that's actually the signs that we're actually getting better at something. So when we try something new, it's going to require our brain to change. So then when we do that action again, we recall that information faster and we do it better. Now, for that change to occur in our brain, the way we feel that change is through discomfort. Maybe a little bit.
Struggle is good, Mike?
That's right.
Struggle is good?
That's right. Pain, frustration, disappointment. Understand that is the signs. Those are the signs that you are actually getting better. So let's break this down a little bit more specific here. So what generally happens is, I'm going to talk about just in general, everybody. And I'm talking about everybody, okay? At some point, when they go to do something new, they feel friction, right? They feel this discomfort, this awkwardness, right? But the difference between that process, right? And what people refer to as good stress versus bad stress is that after a minute to, let's say, 3 minutes, they brush it off and they move forward, right? And this is what a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset, this is what they know to be true, right? Now, what happens with people with a fixed mindset, they think, oh, because there's pain, because there's discomfort, I will quit. I will stop. I will not continue doing this activity, specifically prospecting, for the sake of real estate agents, right? And so just fundamentally knowing this, knowing that the path forward is going to require you to feel pain, discomfort, frustration, this is important for self-reflection, right? So now when you go to prospect and you feel that discomfort, now you can say, that means I'm actually getting better. But one of the things that's really important to understand next is once you begin to gain the self-awareness, because let's take another step back. This discomfort is out of your control. If I were to ask you right now, take a survey, how many people here want to feel uncomfortable
and pain?
Yeah, when prospecting, when starting to prospect, 0. No one's going to raise their hand, okay? So ultimately, what we want to be mindful of here is that, again, this process moving forward is going to be that way. So this is going to allow us to then move forward and take these actions.
And it's all with mindset, because where you are right now, agents, listening to this, if you're making $50,000 a year and you want to make 100 or 200, guess what? It's going to require you to stretch out. You're going to have like your boundaries stretched out. It's going to be uncomfortable, because right now, we talked about this in past couple episodes, where our business is stretching me out right now. Like, we're growing. Mm-hmm. So what used to work last season is not working anymore, right? So instead of me looking at the resistance as a problem, I'm looking at the resistance as an opportunity of like, oh man, well, this is what it's going to take for me to go to the next level.
Yep.
So the new version of you is going to require you to go from that small cup now to a medium cup. But that pain, that stretching, imagine yourself being a small cup. Now you're being moved up to a medium cup or a large cup where you can have more opportunities. But that's what that mindset is looking at pain as an actual positive thing.
Yeah, and I guess so to finish the story, I kind of jumped and didn't complete it. So the first thing that we realize is that pain is not within our control, as I mentioned. So it's going to come to us because we are feeling something new, right, that we want to move forward with. So all of a sudden we're feeling this discomfort. So now the next thing we need to do, the very next step, is recognize it, right? What most of us do, right, an instinctual thing, a part of our brain says, when you feel pain, you run from pain, all right? It's a survival mechanism that's antiquated. It doesn't serve us, right? Because our life isn't being threatened. What we need to do is we need to recognize it. Aha, this is what Mike was talking about. I am feeling discomfort towards prospecting. Does that mean I don't prospect? No, that means that's an antiquated system. It's a false alarm, okay? So now I'm self-aware of it. So now the very next thing we need to do is we need to force our body and brain to relax, to turn off the alarms. The way we do that is by taking deep breaths. If you want, Google physiological sigh. That's right, physiological sigh. And you'll see the practice. Essentially, you take 2 deep breaths in and then exhale. You do that 3 times. Do that 3 times. And biologically, your anxiety and your stress will submerge or go down, which will then allow you to have a clear mind and start thinking for yourself, right? Thinking about what is it that I want? What is it I need to do? And that's the next step. The next step is having an action plan. What do I mean by an action plan? A checklist of steps to get you to start prospecting, to get you to post on social media, to get you to do whatever it is you know you should be doing, that you know you can.
Like a recipe.
Like a recipe. Just like a recipe, actually, right? So that's the process of a growth mindset, okay? It's knowledge. And then I helped you come full circle to take action, okay? So that's the way you begin to love your career, because guess what? By understanding this process, you begin to appreciate this process. When you start feeling that discomfort towards something new that you know is going to lead to growth in your business, you begin to appreciate that pain, that resistance, that frustration. You're like, there it is, okay? So that's the first thing. Embrace growth mindset. All right, the second way that you could love or to help you love your real estate career again is cultivating meaningful relationships beyond transactions.
Because, Mike, if you think about our profession, how blessed are we to do what we do as real estate agents, right? We're literally getting paid to talk to people, to make friends with people. You're getting paid to pick up the phone or meet with someone face to face and build a relationship with these people. So to fall in love with this profession, we need to help you understand, like, let's step away for a second and look at what we're actually doing. We're getting paid. We're inside an AC, like you have AC.
Hopefully.
Right, hopefully, right? If you don't, I feel sorry for the agent making calls with no AC. But you're in a room with AC, making phone calls, calling other people, making friends, going, driving around, meeting other people. Like, how beautiful is that you're able to do that? So think back at what other jobs you can be doing that just suck. Like manual labor, outdoors, doing the hard work, or working for a boss you can't stand, being micromanaged, right? Putting in 8-9 hours for someone else to be rich and have an opportunity to grow their business. So guess what? You're getting paid to have your own business, to do, which is also a bad thing in sometimes. But today's about love. We're not going to talk about that. The problem with too much freedom, right? But how beautiful is it that you get paid to help people out? And it's also one of the most important decisions that people will make in their life, which is buying a home or buying an investment property, and you're helping them out with that. So think about how intimate you are in someone's life, that you are their go-to and they trust you with, it could be all their savings that they saved up for the past 10 years or it's their vision to be able to build financial freedom, and they're leaning on you to help them out. It's like being invited to their wedding almost, right? Like, dang, you're in that inner circle. So if you're feeling beat up, if you're feeling like, man, this sucks or this or whatever, just realize at the end of the day what we're getting paid to do.
Yeah, I mean, the way I like to frame this is, imagine you were in a classroom and you asked all the kids in the room what they wanted to do when they grow up.
What did you say, by the way,
right?
When you were a kid?
I
don't even think they asked me in school.
I remember taking the test at our high school, and I ended up being a nurse because I never wanted to go to school for too long, so I couldn't be a doctor.
So nurse.
I always wanted to help people, but I didn't want to put in the time to learn. Like school, I didn't like school at the time.
So nurse was the fastest way, like in medical field?
It's less school.
Less school?
Yeah. You're a doctor for 8 years or 10 years or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyways.
All right, sidetrack.
Yeah. So imagine you're in a classroom and you ask all the kids, what do they want to be when they grow up? And one of the kids raises their hands, and he or she says, when I grow up, I want to make friends.
They'll laugh at her.
That's literally what you all want to do at the core.
At
right?
the core.
Like, really think about this, right?
Who doesn't want to make friends?
Like, how awesome is that? Like, you're just helping the people you know, right, to make their dreams come true. Help them buy property or help them invest in property, help them sell property, right? Like, how beautiful is that?
That's it.
That's it. At the end of the day, you just have to connect with them. You just have to honor them, stay consistent with them, follow up with them, be their friend, care about them. That's all you have to do. Have these warm, loving conversations, right? And ultimately, that's going to drive your business forward at the core.
Yep. And the same way there was mean kids at school when you would talk to them, guess what? It didn't stop you as a kid. You still went out there and spoke to other people and made your friends and kept going. Same thing. You're going to have some phone calls that just don't go right. Just keep on going.
So let's think about this, right? We know psychologically that we do things that feel good.
Yeah.
That's generally what we do as human beings, right? So imagine if your business was all about connecting with people that you know, love, and care about. And they love and care about you.
Yep.
That's where we want all of you to get to. So if you're interested in understanding how to do that, go ahead right now, while we have limited availability, go to habitguys.com/call and sign up for your free coaching consultation. Again, that's habitguys.com/call.
Yeah, because one of the first things we do in our coaching program is our super sphere. Right? And super sphere is literally that. Can you imagine that the only people you're talking to are people that love you, that want to be spoken to, and they're referring you business, and you are referring them business and contacts and value and vendors, and it's like a party.
Yeah.
Prospecting is like a party.
Right.
So that's ultimately what we get you to in our coaching program, is getting you to, like, it's like losing weight eating pizza. It's literally what starts to happen in our program. So
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, you're just eating pepperoni pizza, right? And
That's what I would eat.
Yeah, you would eat. I would eat cheese.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Because if it's not pleasurable, if it's not fun, ultimately we know scientifically you're just going to burn out. You got to have fun in this process. And we talk about that, right? Scientifically, how to have fun with something you don't like to do, right? Because if you don't put fun into it and you just try to grind it out, eventually you're just going to burn out.
Exactly. All right. So now the third and final, strategy to help you love your real estate career again is work-life harmony, or as I like to call it, life-work
right?
balance, right?
Life-work balance,
Yeah. Yep. Balancing business with personal well-being.
And the first thing I'll say is a key word is the word balance. Just be careful. It doesn't mean 50-50, right?
That's right.
Some people have a 50-50 work-life balance. Some people have 80% work, 20% family balance, or vice versa. So everyone's balance is different. And one of the strategies we teach is called Truest Week, where you actually write down on paper how much time are you going to spend with your friends and family, on your business, right, and on yourself, which are three major components. And I think a lot of agents lose sight of this. They get so caught up in the grind, let me do, that they forget about their family. They become disconnected with their kids. They're on the phone all the time or being busy, and then not spending quality time with their kids. Their kids go to sleep, and then it just becomes this vicious cycle of they're not making money, their family's not connected with them, or they are making money, but they don't know their family. So we get so many different versions of this. So we want to make sure you learn on this one, is where are you spending your time, and is it filling your cup? So an exercise for this is the Truest Week. And having your Truest Week, you'll be able to lay out, and it's a day-by-day process. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You write out, okay, when am I going to the gym? When am I, doing my spiritual practice? When am I prospecting? When am I doing date night with my wife, right? When am I spending one-on-one time with my kids? When am I doing family time? Whatever that is, you lay it out, and you share that with everybody in your house as well, which is another key thing that I see a lot of agents don't do this. They don't share their schedule, well, mainly because they don't have a schedule, right? But you need to share your schedule so your family knows, right? Especially if you live with people. When you're dad, when are you real estate agent, right? When are you the husband? Because if those lines are not in black and white, as much as you can, there's no perfection, then people are just going to steamroll into your life. People are going to open up your office door when you're prospecting, and then you get deviated, and then you go and end up doing something else with the kids or whatever that is, and your life just becomes reaction mode. So make sure that you have true life-work balance and lay that out, share it, and write it out. Because a lot of you don't have it written out. You don't. You just kind of work out whenever you have time. You prospect whenever you have time. And if you wait for time to do things, you'll never do the hard stuff. You'll constantly do the easy stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah. And at the core, that Truest Week is one of the steps within our productivity program where you really ask yourself questions to really understand who you are and what you want and desire out of life. And it helps you really focus on the things that truly matter, because most of us, if you haven't checked in on yourself, you are just reacting to your life. You're probably just marching to the beat of everyone else's drum around you, and you just didn't realize that was happening. So ultimately, this process of setting boundaries and knowing what truly is valuable in your life allows you to then feel that sense of well-being. Feel that you are making progress in the directions that are truly going to not just grow yourself, but connect you with the things that matter most to you.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, man, if you're not having fun in this process, life is going to just take you away. Mike and I, it took us over 10 years to build this company that we are now so grateful to have a very great living and serving people. And I remember doing this as on the side with you, Mike, right? Mm-hmm. When Mike and I were full-time employees, and we just side hustled this for some time. But in that time, we still went on with our family, right? We still worked out. We still had our spiritual practice. We still had family time. We still, it wasn't like you didn't grow with your son, right? You spend time with Lucas, you spend time with your wife, your kids, and that never separated you. You had fun in the process. We had beautiful moments as friends. We traveled together. We enjoyed life, and we did it in the process of growing our business too. It wasn't like a 10-year, 15-year grind, and then you turn around and your kids are out of the house and you're like, oh, I didn't enjoy that.
Right.
Now I make all this money, but I'm miserable with my life. So this is something that's been powerful for us, not only to teach, but obviously we can teach it because we did it. So
Absolutely.
I love it.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this Valentine's Day special. Hopefully you guys could implement the strategies that we taught during this podcast to get you to re-engage with your love for your real estate career.
Absolutely.
All right. So that wraps up this episode. Here is the missing piece to your business. It's accepting that when you know better, you do not necessarily do better. You do better when you change your habits. Let us help.